Good day, everyone. I am Eric Phil Estrada, and I will be presenting the principles 4 and 5 that is putting action and description in radio script. This is part of the principles of clear and effective writing for radio in Module 10. And by the end of this session, you'll know how to make your scripts sound alive, clear, and unforgettable. So the objective of this lesson is for learners to understand how to make radio scripts more dynamic by using action-oriented and descriptive language. This presentation covers four parts. Principle 4, put action in your sentences. Principle 5, use descriptive words, radio broadcast example, and key takeaways. Radio is a living medium. Your sentences should move just like the sounds you broadcast. Using active voice helps achieve that movement. Compare these two sentences. The award was given by the mayor versus the mayor gave the award. The second one is clear, strong, and fast, and that is perfect for a radio script. Active voice tells the listener who's doing what. It's natural, direct, and holds attention, while passive voice feels slow and distant. In radio, where timing and clarity matter, active voice keeps your audience hooked. Now, let's have a quick review in our high school English on how to turn a passive sentence into an active one. First, find the object. So in this sentence is book. Then find the doer. That's Anna. Next is move the doer to the front. And then add the action word right after the subject. Then remove any unnecessary helping verbs like was or were. And lastly, read it aloud. This now reads Anna wrote the book. If it sounds clear and lively, then it's ready for broadcast. Here are some quick examples. Notice how each active version sounds shorter and more natural. When your announcer reads these lines, they flow smoothly, helping listeners stay focused on the message. These sentences are exactly the kind of sentence that sounds good on air, which is clear and confident. Since radio has no visuals, your words must do the painting. Descriptive language helps listeners imagine the scene as if they were there. It turns plain narration into vivid storytelling. So, how to be descriptive? Use your senses when you write. Don't just say it was raining. Instead, say raindrops tapped gently on the window. Be specific. Say vendors shouted prices while tricycles honked on the crowded street, rather than it was noisy. Short, sensory descriptions create mental pictures that make your listeners feel the story. Here are some examples. Which sentences help you visualize the scene better? The descriptive ones, of course. They allow the listener to see, hear, and feel what's happening, even without a single image. So before we wrap up, let's listen to a real broadcast that masterfully uses both action and description. This is a clip of Edward R. Murrow's broadcast from the Buchenwald concentration camp in 1945. As you listen, pay attention to how every sentence moves and how vividly those words paint the scene.
We drove on, reached the main gate. The prisoners crowded up behind the wire. We entered. And now let me tell this in the first person. for I was the least important person there, as you shall hear. There surged around me an evil-smelling horde. Men and boys reached out to touch me. They were in rags and the remnants of uniform. Death had already marked many of them, but they were smiling with their eyes. I looked out over that mass of men to the green fields beyond, where well-fed Germans were plowing. A German, Fritz Kirchheimer, came up and said, "May I show you around the camp? I've been here 10 years. An Englishman stood to attention saying, "May I introduce myself? Delighted to see you. And can you tell me when some of our blokes will be along?" I told him soon, and asked to see one of the barracks. It happened to be occupied by Czechoslovakians. When I entered, men crowded around, tried to lift me to their shoulders. They were too weak. Many of them could not get out of bed. I was told that this building had once stabled 80 horses. There were 1,200 men in it, 5 to a bunk. The stink was beyond all description. When I reached the center of the barracks, a man came up and said, "You remember me. I am Peter Zenku, one-time mayor of Prague." I remembered him, but did not recognize him. He asked about Benish and Jan Masaryk. I asked how many men had died in that building during the last month. They called the doctor. We inspected his record. There were only names in the little black book, nothing more. Nothing who these men were, what they had done, or hoped. Behind the names of those who had died, there was a cross. I counted them. They totaled 242. 242 out of 1,200 in 1 month.
So Morrow doesn't tell us the camp was terrible. He shows us through action and detail, men reaching out, rags clinging to their bodies, the stench in the air, his verbs reach, entered, walk, saw, and his descriptive phrases makes us see what he saw. That's the essence of writing for radio. To recap, use active voice, put the doer first, then the action, use descriptive words, paint pictures with sound, always read your script aloud. If it flows naturally and paints a picture, you've done it right. Writing for radio is writing for the ear. When your words move with action and shine with description, your listeners don't just hear your story, they experience it. So thank you for tuning in and happy writing.